Carroll bringing it forward. Thompson's making the run. Carroll hangs on to it though. Still Davy Carroll. Could go all the way here. Oh, what a goal!
Hello and welcome to the Easter special of Ringing the Blues, the official Wycombe Wanderers podcast in partnership with Virgin Media. On the show this week we recap the Good Friday action up at Bolton. We've also got the Easter Monday action from Adams Park against Charlton Athletic, and Wycombe Wanderers fan Sai Thomas joins us for Till Death Us Do Part. Right, let's wind the clock back to the start of the bank holiday weekend, a long trip up the M6 to take on Bolton. Here's what happened. Toby Large joined us on commentary.
Taylor now struts forwards, long legs, continues his run onto the left wing and is side down, and then it's a free kick. That's a really good run from Caleb Taylor. It's a yellow card as well. I think that's Jay Matete, isn't it, who stuck out a leg there. Caleb Taylor in full flight, it's a beautiful thing to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. He's really got a turn of pace about him actually, over on that left wing. It's something that I really like to see, that back three, they've got a little bit of licence to continue those overlapping runs and actually get forward. And as you mentioned, the long legs of Caleb Taylor, just too long for Matete to deal with, and sides him down just outside the penalty area. If it was a little bit narrower towards the goal, we could have been talking about a penalty for Wycombe, but nonetheless still in a brilliant position.
Leahy with the free kick. It's 1 yard outside the penalty area, about 4 yards from the goal line, left-hand side. I think he's going to have a chat with Cameron Humphreys here. There's a two-man wall, which is interesting. Sonny Bradley's coming across to join this little mini summit about this set piece. Very quick word with Luke Leahy, along the lines, I'd imagine, of stick it on my head and I'll do the rest.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan.
Leahy now with the ball into the box, clips it up, it's underneath the crossbar. Taylor
Yes!
2-2 for Caleb Taylor. He won the free kick. He's converted it at the back post as well, in front of the away ends. It's limbs from the Wycombe Wanderers fans. The all-important first goal here at Bolton, and it's gone the way of the Chairboys. Bolton Wanderers 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1.
Oh, it's absolute pandemonium in the away end for the one and only Wanderers, the Wycombe Wanderers. Caleb Taylor, we mentioned, he deserved more goals this season. He's had so many big chances that have been so unlucky, cleared off the line. Well, like London buses, Caleb, the Caleb Taylor bus has come along twice in 2 games, fires in the header at the back post, a pinpoint delivery from Luke Leahy, 1-0 to the Wycombe.
Tickets, please. All aboard the Caleb Taylor Express. Fantastic scenes here. Away end was already bouncing. It's really rocking now. Wycombe Wanderers with the lead. Goal coming in the 58th minute. 93 minutes then. We've got 2 minutes left of the minimum of 5 added on. Reach. Lovely little header down the line to Labala. He keeps it in play now. If Labala could win us a corner or a throw here, that would be excellent. He's taking the ball into the corner flag. 3 Bolton players come across. Reach has brought it out now. He's inside the area. Can we find something here? Scowen sends it to Leahy. Yes! Luke Leahy makes sure. It's a great goal from Wycombe Wanderers. Adam Reach, the architect. McCleary chips in with some work there too. Scowen sets it unselfishly to Luke Leahy, who buries it into the top corner, and Wycombe Wanderers slide over into the rain in front of those Wycombe Wanderers fans. And all of a sudden it's not so nervous. In stoppage time, it's Bolton 0, Wycombe Wanderers 2.
Well, signed, sealed, delivered. The 3 points are coming back to High Wycombe. Oh my goodness, what a move. The composure from Josh Scowen to set up Luke Leahy adds to the assist that he got earlier in the game. Oh, what a wonderful celebration as well, just as the initials, I think they're of his kids, dedicating it to them. Wonderful scenes. Well, limbs didn't really define it earlier. It's bodies in the away end now. It's a wonderful moment for Wycombe.
People are taking their tops off. Wonderful scenes here. And we have got a minimum of 30 seconds left of the minimum of 5 added on. There will be extra time now added on because Wycombe has scored another goal. Mike, big 3 points. Your take on the game?
If I had a pound for every time someone said a big 3 points or a big game in this kind of last run of games, yeah, look, it's an important win, obviously, you know, that's obvious, but Easter weekend's always crazy. You know, I've experienced it myself previously, so I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself. We've got to turn up on Monday and make sure that we put another performance like that in, because we're going to come up against a really, really strong Charlton team, well coached, good manager for the level, really organised, fit and strong. So we know Monday's going to be a real test for us. So yeah, I think the players are going to obviously enjoy today, rightly so. But then we'll be fully focused in tomorrow, fully focused for Monday.
That's another clean sheet as well. Let's start with the defence, because if you don't let goals in, that does half the job, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the game kind of panned out how we planned the game to look, if I'm honest. We know they've got an incredible coach in terms of some of the stuff they play in possession, and we felt if we went chasing the ball too much, they would open us and they would find too many spaces. So I felt from back to front we managed the whole game really, really well. And when I came into the club, I spoke around controlling games either with the ball or without the ball. And unfortunately at the moment we haven't been able to do the in possession stuff as fluidly as people would like, but the out of possession stuff has been really, really good. It's been excellent. So they deserve a huge amount of credit today. I felt from start to finish. They had a little they came out the blocks, probably the first I looked up, it was probably about 8 or 9 minutes where they came out quite strong. But after that, I felt we had complete control in terms of where we wanted the ball to go, in terms of dictating the kind of their play. I thought it was a really professional performance.
And Caleb Taylor, second game in a row that he's popped up with an important goal.
Yeah, and I think I said a few weeks ago when we had a little spell where we obviously didn't pick points up. And I said, you know, you're at that kind of stage of season where you need the big moments to land for you. And I felt in that little spell we didn't have those big moments. And I felt in the last 2 games now those moments have fell for us, because before that point, if I'm being honest, there wasn't a huge amount in the game. You know, they were a really good team, Bolton, as I said, really well coached. And it's a big moment, and that's what we need from now to the end of the season. We need to take those moments, and Caleb did that. And then obviously the second goal comes when they open their shape up even more and they gamble a little bit more. It kind of opens up the shape for us to score the second goal. But in terms of our guys, I was really happy with them. I thought it was a really professional, solid performance.
Second goal was sealed it, and it's right in front of the travelling fans as well, and some wonderful scenes in those celebrations, and also after the final whistle as well.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big celebrator, because when you sit in this position, you know you're only as good as your next game. So, you know, I always try and show a level, you know, my respect to the travelling fans. You know, I thought they were, and they have been in all the away games that I've been here. They've been in fine voice and they support the team. So, you know, I'm always thankful for, I don't know how many was there, but they really got behind the team, and we've said it, I know the lads have said it, we're going to need them from now to the end of the season. If we want to achieve something special, we're going to have to achieve it together. Yeah, they were, you know, as always, I'm always appreciative of people spending their hard-earned money to come and watch us play, and thankfully I can sit here and they're going home with a smile on the face because we've got 3 points. Yeah,
Wycombe did their job today, but results elsewhere, Wrexham drawing, mean that Wycombe now go above Wrexham into second place. How big is that psychologically now with 3 to go?
Nothing really changes from our perspective, if I'm being honest. Like I said it a few weeks ago, there's plenty of twists and turns still to come here. Easter weekend always throws up crazy results, and because the turnaround is so tight between Friday to Monday, and do you make changes? Do you stick with the same team? You know, how, you know, do you freshen it up? You know, how fresh are the play, not just our players but the whole of the EFL, how fresh are the players going to be on Monday? So you've got all those kind of things that you need to balance out. So the Friday, Monday always throws up crazy results, and like I keep saying to the guys, you're only as good as your next result. So we'll enjoy this evening, but we'll be in tomorrow, you know, back down to earth, fully focused on making sure that we back it up with another strong performance on Monday. 3
consecutive wins at just the right time of the season. That's great momentum, though.
Yeah, and I sound like a broken record. You know, the two games prior to that I thought were winning performances. I don't want to keep dwelling on that, but I said at the time I felt it was really harsh on the football club and really harsh on the guys, and you know, we should be sat here in real momentum. The biggest thing is we look really hard to play against, and I think that's the bit that I'm really proud of. That when I spoke to the ownership group and they asked me to interview for the job, I said I would come in and I would make us really hard to play against. I felt that the staff and the people that have come in have done that, but not only that, the group have completely bought into what we're trying to do. So we've given ourselves a real opportunity. If you look back to the Reading game where it was doom and gloom and I was the worst person on earth, we've now given ourselves a real chance.
Kieran Sadley are back for a very fleeting appearance, but great to have him back in the matchday squad. Barry Labala back from injury as well. Again, perfect reinforcements for this stage.
Yeah, we're pretty much up to full strength, apart from obviously Mags and Dan, I think. If I've missed anyone off, I apologise. But yeah, I wanted to get Sads on, obviously former club, whatever else, and you want to give him more minutes, but I think it was important to one, include him in the squad, but also to try and get him on the pitch, because I think it would have meant a lot to him, and I think that's important for me. And yeah, Bez has been back in training over a couple of weeks now. You know, Sads has taken a little bit longer, but obviously he's been out for a long time, and I think the group recognised that in the dressing room there when he came in, that he's obviously had a long rehab to get back on the pitches. He deserves a huge amount of credit for it, and the people behind the scenes that have done his rehab and all those types of things. So yeah, as always, selection headaches. Got the huge squad to pick from, and it's really hard. It is really hard. I'm not going to lie, in terms of getting that balance right between picking the best players for each team, but also for each game, but also getting the bench right. And you're leaving players out at times that don't deserve to be left out. But unfortunately, in my position, you have to make tough calls.
Well, we'll see you Monday at Adams Park. Luke, great start to the Easter weekend. A clean sheet and 3 points and a goal for yourself too.
Yeah, couldn't have asked for much more, to be fair. A goal, assist and 3 points and a clean sheet. So really good away performance, and then we go again Monday.
It was a big game for Bolton too. They needed the 3 points themselves, so a lot riding on this. So took some good mental steel as well for the whole team. Yeah,
definitely. I think our out of possession was unbelievable. Everyone knew each other's roles and everyone knew each other's jobs, and we stuck to it. And we knew that they'd come out fast, because it was a big game for them today as much as for us. But yeah, we quietened them to minimal efforts, and we got the 2 goals ourselves. So yeah, good day.
Some real momentum building as well, not just with the clean sheets coming as well, but 3 consecutive wins at this stage of the season is exactly what we needed.
Absolutely. I think, what is it, 3 clean sheets in a row now? And at this stage of the season, that is so big. We defend from the front. Rich and Dan, work their socks off, and it feeds through the whole team, and it shows today. Like I said, minimal efforts from them. I think Chrissy had a header for them that went wide, and that was it. So I always guarantee that we're going to score a goal. So that's how it played out today.
An assist and a goal from yourself. Let's start with the assist. There seems to be a bit of a conversation between lots of people in the build-up to that free kick being taken, but it looked to be a well-executed plan in the end.
Yeah. Caleb, it's about time that he started to turn up and score, and I'm so glad again from today. But I think, was it Sonny come up to me and just said, aim. We worked on a little bit of back post work, and it was quite a difficult angle for me to see, because I was quite deep in the corner. So as soon as I seen Caleb running off, I was like, so happy for him. And yeah, the hard work on the training pitch is paying off. We like I said, we've touched on a little back post movement, and it's paid off today. Yeah.
And a goal for yourself as well, which made that injury time a little bit less nerve-wracking. A wonderful move as well. Some unselfish play from your teammates.
Absolutely. I think, first of all, it was Bez holding it up, wasn't it? And then I was like, yes, in the corner. And then I seen Ricci keep it in. I'm like, here we go, something's happening here. And then Ricci's his awareness to spot the run from G and Scoey, and Scoey just said in there, like, I didn't even see you there, I just heard you screaming for it. So once I seen him, put it there, it was just for it to nestle in the back of the net, and like you say, take them nerves away for the last couple of minutes of the game was delightful, and the celebrations at the end, and it was special. But like I said, nothing's done yet. We've got 3 massive games to go, and it goes again on Monday.
I've not seen the replay back yet. It looked like top bins from up in the commentary box. Was it top bins?
Well, yeah, my little boy Zach said to me a few days ago, he's like, I want a top corner goal daddy, so we'll take that today, yeah.
And a milestone for you today as well, I believe 550 appearances. You don't look old enough.
Thank you, feel it. No, yeah, 550 today, and what a way to cap it off. 3 points, clean sheet, goal and assist, so hopefully you know, a few hundred more, and I think 550, great milestone, but I'd like to top it off with somewhat better in a few weeks.
Mr. Wycombe Stato himself, Matt Cecil, tells me 100 Wycombe appearances coming up on Monday as well if you're in the team.
Hopefully, if selected, yeah. So that's another milestone, yeah. Hopefully I can top it off with another goal and assist.
Other top corner this time?
Other one, yeah. Just any corner.
Safe journey home. We'll see you Monday.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Good to hear from head coach Mike Dodds and goal scorer Luke Leahy after the game at Bolton. But what about the Trotters fans? What did they make of the game? It's the Opposition View, Part 1. Ma.
Every team we've played this season that's getting promoted, that's Birmingham and Wycombe or Wrexham, have looked poor or nowhere near standout winners. It really feels like it's just a case of whoever is most consistent gets promotion this year.
David.
How on earth can little Wycombe, with a little transfer budget and a little wage bill and a little 5,000 average home attendance, be better than us?
Phil Parker.
Their first goal was bad enough, but the second, their player is seeing out the last few seconds against the corner flag and astonishingly emerges with the ball from amidst 3 of ours, and then has a free run into the box to pick out an unmarked man for a tap-in. Unbelievable.
Dave Sutton's Barnet.
Hats off to Wycombe. They've taken some blows this season, and yet they're still above Wrexham in the top 2 with only 3 games to go. Today showed that we're a very long way off. Mathematically, we're 18 points behind Wycombe, and that feels about right. We can't keep a clean sheet, we don't score many, and we don't have any heroes.
Bertie Worcester.
Wycombe had a much better team than us. They had experience, they had leaders, they had pace, they were physical, they had several players with good experience from an higher level of football, and to be honest, they never even needed to get out of first gear. I wonder what their wage bill is compared to ours. I suspect ours is much higher, which, if so, is shocking management. But it does show what can be done and what's needed squad-wise to compete for a top 2 spot.
There's been a rumour that there's a new lightning-fast player in town, and I can confirm these rumours are correct. Virgin Media is here and is guaranteed to be a crowd pleaser. If you're tired of your broadband giving you the blues every time you want to do something, fear not. Virgin Media are right here in Wycombe and have brought their lightning fast full fibre to the area to keep you entertained in between matches. Tuck into as many live sporting events, movies, games and tunes as your heart desires. Not forgetting our podcast with unlimited downloads on Virgin Media's intelligent Wi-Fi. All delivered at the speeds you need to keep the whole house happy. And the best part is, you don't need to wait until the next transfer window to make Virgin Media your favourite signing of the season. Find out more at virginmedia.com or drop into your local O2 store. New customers only, eligible Virgin Fibre areas only, subject to survey, network capacity and credit check. Supporting a football club is like a marriage. Your club is there for life through the good times and the bad. We ask Chairboys fans for their most cherished old memory, their current favourite player, the best borrowed player we've ever had, and for something blue, we talk club merchandise. Okay then, joining us this week is Wycombe Wanderers fan Sai Thomas. Sai, great to see you. How are you?
Oh, Phil, I'm great. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be with you. Been very excited about this. So yeah, thanks for getting in touch.
You might be a familiar face to Wycombe fans from seeing you around Adams Park, but some who maybe not come to games or regulars, they may recognise your face from the telly. Is that right?
Yeah, my face has been on the TV in the past. Yeah, I mean, I'm an actor by trade, I suppose, and like yourself, a stand-up as well. And I have, I've done a few little acting gigs over the years. I'm in a commercial on TV at the moment. I've done a few telly jobs and film jobs over the past 20 years. So yeah, I think I've probably got that vibe of people being like, I sort of recognise that guy's face from somewhere, but I've got no idea where. So it's one of those things, really. But yeah, I'm an actor, and those are the kind of things I do. Yeah.
I was sitting on the sofa the other day with my son, and you popped up in an advert, and I was like, "It's Sai!" My son was like, "What's wrong with you, Dad? What's going on?"
Well, sorry for terrifying you during your evening, but yeah. I mean,
very excited, mate. I'm very pleased to see you. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun. It was a commercial I did at the start of the year. Shot it in Scotland. It was -7, and I nearly perished because of the cold. But yeah, it's on the TV at the moment, and it's always nice. It just reminds people I'm out there, and it was a good gig. So yeah, I'm glad that has been seen and spotted.
Excellent. Well, Wycombe Wanderers, Si, where does the story begin for you? Where did your love of Wycombe start?
Well, yeah, it was. Let me get this date right. 4th of December, 1993. Cambridge United in the FA Cup second round. We won 1-0. Tony Hemmings,
yes,
the scorer. And the reason I went was it was actually because of my brother, who ironically is a Crystal Palace fan these days, but he went for a birthday party and they had a spare ticket and I went along. And although I was born in Wycombe and born in Wycombe General, so right, overlooking Lokes Park, it took till I was the age of 14 to my first game. And I remember just walking into the stadium and being like, what is this amazing thing? Why have I never found it before? And that was that. It was love at first sight. And I've been trying to go as regularly as possible ever since.
Amazing. I love that. The first game memory is brilliant, isn't it? Like if you ask someone like, what did you do last week? No idea. Where were you in 1990? Yeah. I can remember exactly where I was and who did what. And it's wonderful, isn't it?
I can even picture we were in the sort of main stand and I can picture exactly where we sat, exactly, what it was like. And fond memories, even though it's, God, how long's that now? 32 years? Oh, gosh. Yeah, we've been through a lot since then, but yeah. What wonderful times, of course, and I'm so grateful and glad that I got involved then and never looked back, really. We have been through a lot, which makes these questions very difficult, I'd imagine, for someone like you. Because we're about the same age, so a huge amount has happened for Wycombe Wanderers in this time. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, that was our first league season in the league, so great. Think what we've been through during that, and ups and downs, but that's part of the joy of it, isn't it? You've got to go through those difficult times to enjoy the ups as well. So yeah, but I'd say generally it's been just amazing memories, There we are. Being a football fan, the perfect metaphor for life, I've always said. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Right, let's crack on with the questions then. Something old, your favourite ever Wycombe Wanderers memory, what's it to be? Well, I know this has been mentioned a few times on the pod in the past, but in terms of that, for like one moment of just unbridled joy, it's got to be Roy Essendon.
We're 2 minutes into injury time. 24 in the box for Simpson's free kick. Instant double-fisted punch by Royce. Here's Bournemouth. Back into the mixer. Knocked back by Bates. Essendon! It's in! And the man who they found through an advert on the internet.
To be at Filbert Street and the drama of that game and the backstory behind it with, half the team being out and no fit strikers and Laurie Sanchez trying to get Gianluca Vialli and Ian Wright or just find anyone and the teletext background and all of that. Just that moment of Essendon rising like a salmon and planting that header in the top corner and just going wild. And those moments, will live with me forever. I mean, I'm actually getting goosebumps even just thinking about it right now. It was just, if you could bottle up that feeling, there'd be no wars. Like, it just was incredible. And so I think for me, like I said, it's a popular one, but there's a reason for that. It was just such a special moment in a special journey. So for me, that's the moment that lives with me forever, I think. And, obviously, I was at Selhurst Park as well, which I think was probably the greatest football match I've ever seen. I was saying about how my brother's a Crystal Palace fan and has been a season ticket holder at Selhurst for God, 20 plus years. And he is livid that he still maintains the best game of football he's ever seen at Selhurst Park doesn't involve Crystal Palace. So,
Fantastic.
that Wycombe Wimbledon game, and obviously Ainsworth was involved as well, which has that irony, but just the drama of that as well. So I think that cup run and Essendon, and it was a time in my life when I was in my early 20s, and I was probably the most passionate I was about Wycombe at the time. So the rewards of that Essendon moment and Filbert Street, and it is the memory that lives with me forever, I think.
And as a football fan, but also someone who, you said you've acted as well, and you're aware of that side of the world. In terms of sort of writing plot lines and sort of things like that, I mean, you wouldn't be able to come up with a story like that, would you?
You just couldn't. I mean, it's so like I love telling that story about Essendon to people who don't know the story, and they're like, "What?" I mean, explaining what teletext was to the younger generation is difficult. But yeah, that story, and that he just came and created this iconic moment for this beautiful little club, and then drifted off again. You couldn't write it, like you say. So yeah, that's the memory that lives with me, I think.
And it's so perfect because it's so Wycombe as well, because I think you mentioned, the other strike, the retired strikers that we tried to kind of, they'd have shoehorned their way into the glory. They'd have been like, oh yeah, it's about us. Whereas this guy, I think we signed him from Finland. He hadn't scored a goal all season. The only goal he scored that season was that goal. And it was kind of perfect from that point of view.
Yeah, and I think Laurie Sanchez said that he'd seen him once in training and was like, well, he's all right. I'll stick him on the bench. And the way that it just had to be that perfect ending. And like you said, the supporting characters of all the other, because we had some decent strikers at the time. Them all just hobbling along to celebrate when he scored and stuff. It was just, you just couldn't write a story like it. So, I mean, it's playing in my mind now, just all those memories of being there on that day and seeing it and having watched that goal so many times over the years. It's just, for me, it is the iconic Wycombe Wanderers memory.
I remember seeing Roy make his debut. I think he came off the bench at Adams Park, and I remember being on the terrace and just thinking, who on earth is this guy? He's so far off there, it's unbelievable. But it just shows you, life as well, it's about being in the right place at the right time at some moments. The stars are lining up. And he just sort of ambled into the box, but bang, what a header.
Yeah, I love it. And I love that didn't he, after retirement, he's become a personal trainer or something like that. So he could be having a training session with something like that and not know that he is, not just Wycombe Wanderers, but in terms of the history of the FA Cup, that's one of the greatest moments ever and one of the greatest stories. So, I love it. I love that.
If you watch FA Cup match to this day, it's in the titles. He's in there. There's a little clip of him doing the arm thing in front of the Wycombe fan. It's in there and will be forevermore, I would imagine, because I don't think anyone's going to write a story as mad or as brilliant as that ever again, are they?
No, I love it. That's up there with John Motson in his coat in the snow.
Yes.
In terms of those kind of Wycombe Wanderers memories that just live on through Match of the Day and the like.
Fantastic. Well, perfect start to this. And Roy always gets the headlines, and quite justifiably so. But so much other stuff happened that day. Laurie getting sent off. Steve Brown getting sent off for taking his shirt off. There's so much to unpack in that game as well. But obviously, Roy gets the plaudits, and quite rightly so. Sorry to interrupt. I also love that.
Sanchez celebrating in the tunnel, or wherever he was, back in the stands where he'd been sent to. And I love that, because this is quite a good link with me and you, actually, in the stand-up world. So Keith Allen, obviously the secretary at the time, who's in that big celebration with Laurie Sanchez, his son, Mark Allen, was a stand-up for a while. Well, yeah. And how great's this? I once did a stand-up gig in, I think it was Torquay or something like that. And I was driving, as you know, from the stand-up world, you buddy up and you drive each other to gigs, particularly if you're all based in London, you're going out to the sticks. And I drove a car with myself, Mark Allen was in the back and Henning Venn was in the front. We had 3 Wycombe Wanderers fans driving. We were the whole bill of the stand-up night. I think Mark was opening, I was emceeing, Henning was headlining. And it was just amazing that we'd all been, doing this thing as stand-ups, but all had this Wycombe Wanderers link. So yeah, whenever I watch that Sanchez celebrating, I look at Keith Allen in the background and know that that's my mate Mark's dad, and
amazing.
The stand-up on that as well. So.
You mentioned Mods' coat, but Sanchez's sort of Columbo trench coat
with the rain on.
That should be in the museum somewhere as well.
Yeah, in the Wycombe Wanderers Museum. Let's get that in there. I can even picture it with the sort of rain on it and stuff. I don't remember it raining. Maybe it was water from something else. But yeah, God, iconic memories, iconic images.
We'll call it the tears of the Leicester City fans. That's what we'll call it for that.
The tears of Filbert Street. In many ways, I'm gutted Filbert Street's gone because I'd love to go back there and just walk around and try and piece back all those memories together. Because it was a happy time.
Right, on to something borrowed. Favourite ever loanee or player you wish we'd signed but never did or never have? Who's it to be?
Oh, right. Okay. So, I feel like we've been very good over the years of having loanees and then turning them into permanent. Maybe not straight away, but I think so. A lot of the great loanees have ended up, players like, just trying to think back, like Sean Devine was on loan, I think, Nathan Tyson.
Gareth
Ainsworth, of course.
Yeah.
Mike Williamson. Alfie Mawson came back.
Paul Hayes.
Paul Hayes. So Aaron Pierre. So we've had a lot of loanees who've then become permanent players eventually. So I was sort of trying to wrap my brain about who we've had on loan, who's not. I think there's obvious choices like Eze and Potts, who you would love to, or Stephen Taylor, who you would love to have turned into permanents because they're great players. But I was trying to think about ones who could realistically have signed who we didn't. So Nico Yanaris was, remember him being great in our promotion season, I think.
Yes.
And I thought he was quality, and I don't know where he's actually ended up now. But
he's playing in the Chinese Premier League for Beijing Guoyang. Yeah.
Wow.
I think in his heritage there's some his sort of family links, and he's playing in the top level in China, Beijing Guoyang. Weirdly, I've seen one of these weird players walking down the street. I thought, I wonder what ever happened to him, and I googled it, and he's still out there, still playing, and having a great time by the look of it. Yeah,
he was. I remember him being great for us. It was a really, really good loanee, and I helped us go up that season, if I recall. But yeah, another player who we had on loan, who at the time I was like, this guy's incredible, and maybe if the club had made it work and kept him, he could have been a great player for us, was John Akinde, who in his, I think he maybe had 2 loan spells with us. Is that right, Phil? And the first one, I remember scoring it's either 6 in 6 or 7 in 7. And he just looked like the complete striker. And I know his career never massively took off. And he was at Barnet for a long time, wasn't he? Mm. But I remember at the time when we signed him, I think was he on loan from Bristol City or Brentford or something like that. But he was like a real, he just looked like the complete striker. And I can't, again, because my memory's so hazy because it's going back so far, I feel like we might have, was it a season we went down? And maybe if we'd kept him, he could have been, an iconic striker for us back then.
Yeah. I think he's still playing in non-league somewhere. I think so, yeah. He was at Colchester in the league until quite recently, and I think he's still sort of playing at sort of a decent non-league level. So, but in my mind, he must be like about 50 now.
I know. The thing is, again, because we're about the same age, we've probably been supporting the Blues about the same amount of time. Because it's so many years and you try and condense it, it's really difficult. When I was sort of trying to think ahead for chatting to you, I was looking back over the years, and it's like a weird, the years will blur into one, and then there's massive gaps where you're like, who played for us during that decade? And you can't remember. It's truncated into so many great players in 1 minute. So yeah, to me, that could be 30 years ago Akinde was playing for us. But realistically, if he's still playing now, it must have been 15 at tops, I would have thought. So that's a loanee who I remember having a big impact. But we have been blessed with great loanees over the years, and it's amazing how many we did turn into permanents, really. But, again, I'm sure it's a common answer, but I'd say Eze and Stephen Taylor were probably the two who, God, I wish we could have signed them.
Yeah.
But actually, probably the best loanee I think we've had for position in the time I supported the club was probably Alfie Mawson. I mean, I was at Luton for that goal he scored in that win there. For a centre-back to do that, driving through, playing a little give and go and finishing in the way he did, you were like, this guy is just unbelievable. And it's just tragic he had the injuries he had in his career, because again, that was a real happy day for me when he came back a few seasons ago, and it was just so gutting that he couldn't get over those injuries, because he was an international class player.
You talk about the transferring sort of a loanee into a permanent, but that goal at Kenilworth Road, I'm told, was what really made it incredibly difficult, because I think there was work going on in the background to make Alfie a permanent. But that goal, unfortunately, on live TV, the way that he did it, I think that made it a lot more difficult than it would have been.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised, because you could just see, even in that moment, you could see, I mean, very few centre-backs have the ability to do that at his age at the time. And was it Barnsley he went to after that?
Yes, yeah.
He was their player of the season, wasn't he, the season after? And just went on to greatness. And it's just a shame the guy just got such bad luck with the injuries, because he could have gotten a few more England squads and, played the Premier League for a lot longer, really. But hey, if he hadn't had the injuries, he wouldn't have come back to us. And that was that nice kind of, we talked about it earlier, that bookending of players going away and coming back. And, I like to think, and I think it's hopefully for a lot of players, Wycombe feels like home. So it's quite nice for him to come home, I think. That goal at Luton is the ultimate sort of loanee sort of situation goal, because I think it was Paul Hayes with the give and go, and the return pass from Hayes. Obviously the finish was fantastic, but the return pass from Hayes, just glorious, inch perfect. What a player Paul Hayes was. Again, his first spell on loan for us, I think he scored something like 6 in 6 or something, didn't he? Yeah. And then went away for a few years, and then when he came back again, there was this joy. I think what a great player he was. I mean, talking earlier about Wycombe Wanderers memories, and I was there at White Hart Lane for that game as well. Yeah. And I know it ended in defeat, but to be 2-0 up with those two Hayes goals, and that was like peak Wycombe under Ainsworth then, when Kashkit was scoring, and I think Akafema was there as well. So we had wealth of attacking talent. And just the way that game went, where we were all huddled in that tiny corner of White Hart Lane because they were, rebuilding it, and to go 2-0 up, how gutted we felt when they pulled it back, and then Thompson's goal as well. That moment, and it has comparisons to Essendo's goal in the way he scored. That was another moment of just unbridled joy. I mean, I ended up about 4 rows in front of where I was standing when that goal went in. Because I was living in London at the time. It was a big London away day, and we'd had a few beers before and stuff. So, yeah, that's up there. And I know we've digressed, but that's up there as well with great memories. Well, that's what Paul Hayes was a great player. That's what this podcast is all about, sort of the memories and digressing, so it's all good. We're on to the final question now, Si. Something blue. Now, your idea for a piece of merchandise for the club shop, it could be fanciful, it could be a fantasy, it could be sensible, although we hope not. Or it could actually, some of these suggestions have actually made it into the club shop. Yeah, the reversible bucket hat was the first. Yeah. That's incredible. God, if I knew this was going to be like Dragon's Den, I'd have actually put. I've got a big pile of money here, mate. I'm just ready to invest. I'm ready to invest. Nice. Well, look, it's a tricky one. Like, out of all the questions, when we were messaging before the pod, you were saying, "Come on, Si, you someone with a creative background, you can come up with some genius here," and that puts extra pressure. So I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe there's a dearth of chair-based products in the club shop, in the Chairboys. I don't know if this has been suggested before, but in fact, there's not much chair-based stuff. Okay. was with the Chairboys, Chairgirls, the furniture industry in Wycombe. Maybe there could be like a Wycombe Wanderers chair.
Yes.
I'd love that as I go into old age, sitting in a little, maybe like a Wycombe rocking chair in Oxford and Cambridge blue, or like a lazy boy type one to, watch the games when I can't make it with your commentaries, Phil. Just sat there, like something like that, maybe. I don't know. I feel like maybe the club in general could do more chair-based stuff.
Okay, I like this because when people come to the club for the first time, and especially from overseas, they're like, one of the early questions is why the Chairboys, and you explain, and it's not unique to Wycombe. Obviously, it's an industry thing, and lots of other clubs have got industrial links and other bits and pieces. But to have sort of guys from the chair factory, furniture factories, in their lunch hour on a Saturday playing football. I think you're right. We need, Urquhart is still in business in Princess Risborough, although it's very expensive. So we might have a high-end line in the club shop. Yeah. But an Urquhart three-piece suite in Wycombe colours would be superb.
Oh, now you're talking, Phil. I can imagine that. My wife wouldn't be too happy, I don't think, if I got that in her house. But I'd love that. Just a little Wycombe Wanderers chair for me. Oh gosh, yeah.
I think it's the perfect one because it's beautiful furniture. Yeah. So for people who aren't necessarily into football, they can appreciate the aesthetic value of an Urquhart chair, and then we can get it done up in the Wycombe, and then it's perfect.
I love it. It's funny, isn't it? Like, no disrespect to any sponsors we've had in however many years, but that Verco on the strip for me, just because of the years, when I started watching the team, is just iconic and synonymous with the club, really. And that's always the spot. I mean, I can't remember any of the other sponsors really, but that's the one, isn't it, Verco? But yeah, when, again, digressing slightly, when I first started supporting Wycombe, obviously Bluey the Swan was the mascot, and we were all disappointed when Bluey got his P45, but and again, Tony Horseman, Bodger was clearly an absolute legend, a non-league legend of the club. But I'm wondering if there's room for a chair-based mascot.
Well, this is it. I mean, West Brom had Boilerman, didn't they? So, and they couldn't really see. So that was a bit of a thing. But yeah, I mean, getting someone dressed up as a chair in this day and age.
There's something in it.
Yeah. I think it could be something in it.
Charlie the Chair or something. I'd dress up in it. I'd do it.
There we go. Well, we've solved it all now.
I work a lot on Saturdays, but if I could class that as work, I could justify being at Adams Park on Saturdays more. So if there's an opening, I'll call Cole. They can make me a chair costume or something. But but maybe some chair-based products would be something to go with.
Right, we'll run with it. We'll see where we end up with this. But yeah, I love the suggestion, bringing it back to the very start.
The roots, yeah.
Perfect. Well, Si, this has been a real pleasure. We hope to see you at Adams Park for the run-in. Some big games coming up. And
I'm going to be there. I'm determined to get to the Stockport game and have every faith that we're still going to be in the mix for the automatics at that point. So I can just picture it now, glorious sunshine on a sunny Saturday and big stuff happening there. But, even when I'm not at Adams Park, obviously the club dominates my life, and I'm always on, checking the scores and living and breathing it, mate. So yeah, really hopeful for a great finish to the season. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Great to hear from Wycombe fan Sai Thomas for his memories. Right then, let's round off the Easter weekend with the action from Wycombe Wanderers' game against Charlton at Adams Park. Brian Jeeves joined us on commentary, and here's what happened.
Doherty, left wing, goes on a little run. Low cross comes in, Jones gets there, and it's in! Charlton have got the lead here. Wycombe's defence has finally been breached in League One. Goal coming in the 10th minute. Doherty with the cross, and Jones puts it underneath the crossbar. It hits the underside of the bar, and Charlton have the lead. Wycombe 0, Charlton 1. Berry lays it now to Small, who drills it into the penalty area. Headed down, Scowen's there to poke clear. Shot comes in, and that's a great goal. Doherty, I think, with it. Oh, it's Berry. Luke Berry smashes it right-footed into the top corner. The set piece was cleared, and Berry's hit it first time right-footed. It's 2-2 for him. and it's Wycombe 0, Charlton 2. Coventry goes long. Simons with his first touch just controls and goes back to Norris. Gordon chases it back and he slips. Oh, and it's going to go in for 3-0. Charlton 3-0 up. Norris lost his footing on the pass back. Gordon was all over it. Charged it down and then poked the ball into the empty net, and Wycombe really have got it all to do now. 58 minutes on the clock. Wycombe 0, Charlton 3. Campbell put the ball into the area for Anderson, but he couldn't spin and turn. Small has it on the right wing. Left footed cross to the back post. Header comes up and it's there, it's 4! Anderson with the header. And Charlton Athletic fans go wild now. Well, it's flipped in, it's a free header and it's 4-0.
They're absolutely running riot now, aren't they? They've got their tails up. The third goal had killed the game. This has completely done it now.
Mike, a 4-0 defeat, your reflections on the game?
My reflections. First of all, apologies to the fans. I wouldn't normally come out and say that first, but I think you can't go from what we did on Friday, to giving away 4 really soft goals. It just can't happen. I didn't see that coming. I don't think anyone's seen that coming. And I just said to the group there, the bit that I need a kind of autopsy around, and the bit that I need to spend some time is, how do we go from being the best defensive record in the whole of the EFL since I've been at this football club and look like so solid and hard to play against, to gifting what are just 4 really soft goals. And I'm a little bit embarrassed around the fact that I can stand here and say there wasn't a huge amount in the game, but we've lost 4-0. There wasn't, I didn't feel on the ropes at any point. That being said, the first goal, we defend the first phase, it comes back in second phase, and our kind of defending the box strategies, if that's the right phrase to use, is really, really poor, and he just kind of walks in and puts the ball in the back of the net. It's a really poor goal from our perspective. The second one, again, it's, we deal with the first phase and they land on the second phase. It's a foul, but I'm not going to make excuses. And it's a great finish, but still, if we want to be tough on ourselves, we've got to deal with that second goal. And the third and fourth goals, I can't defend them. And the bit that I'm really struggling with, and I went over to the shed end and made sure I apologised, is I can't fathom how we've gone from looking so solid and making so many good decisions to gifting someone 4 goals. It's obviously going to look even worse, because obviously it's a team that's in and around us, but I think if we would have made those mistakes against any team, the result would have been the same. So really disappointing day, and I can lose games of football, that's something that I can accept, but what I can't accept, and that's why I apologise to the fans, I can't accept the manner of the goals. I can't accept that, and that's something we'll address internally.
And how do we respond now before another big game on Saturday at Leighton Orient?
We will respond. We will. There's zero question there, because I won't accept it and the group won't accept that. I'm positive that we'll get 2 really positive results towards the end of the season. The unfortunate thing, it's not in our hands anymore, but I did say on Friday there'll be plenty of twists and turns. I still maintain there'll be plenty of twists and turns over the next 2 games.
The twists and turns will come as well, and also Wycombe have the early kick-off on Saturday, a good opportunity to put a marker down for Wrexham, who are the late kick-off that day, against what we've now seen is a very informed Charlton.
Look, I think people are going to say it's an informed Charlton, and it is an informed Charlton. But I go back to my point: if we gift anyone the goals that we've gifted, it doesn't matter who we play against. We could play bottom of the league, and if we gave the bottom of the league those chances, I think they score. So. Look, as always, we're going to concentrate on us regardless of kick-off times and who we're playing. We've got to go to a Leighton Orient team that are also banging form. They're really well coached. They're fighting to obviously get into the playoffs, so it'll be a really, really tough game. And then obviously Stockport as well after that. So we've got we've got 2 really tough games. But if we perform like we have done against Huddersfield and against Bolton and those types of teams, we'll be fine. If we perform like we have done today, then we're going to have a long look at ourselves.
Could it just be put down as a bad day at the office? You've referenced the fact that the excellent form coming into this. Could it be put down as a one-off?
that's the only thing I can put it down to at the moment, because I just can't. The drop off is so cataclysmic. I can't fathom it. I can't fathom how we've gone from conceding 1 goal at home since I've been here, and that was a deflected off Josh Scowen's shoulder for the Wrexham goal. It was actually going wide, to then after 60-70 minutes being 4-0 down. I can't fathom it, and I've got to take responsibility for that, because I'll always protect the group and I'll always protect the decisions in terms of what we try and do. The one thing I will guarantee, it won't happen again, because we know we'll do a full kind of review on why that was. The difficulty is obviously you can't defend the goals, and unfortunately we're going to have some difficult conversations when the guys get back into the training ground.
So then, a tough afternoon for the Chairboys, but what about those Charlton fans? What did they make of it? It's the opposition view, part 2. Tegsy.
That's a statement win if ever I saw one. Dreamland! I'd have laughed you off the face of the earth if you'd have suggested that scoreline this morning. Whatever happens next, Jones has made it feel good to be a Charlton fan again.
Louis Mendes.
Who put the ball in the Wycombe net? Half the flaming team did. Sang the away end. Not mathematically correct, but I'm not going to be picky.
Rick Everett.
In terms of extraordinary Charlton results over recent years, that one has to be right up there. However it plays out in the end, this has been a memorable half-season. Wycombe certainly won't fancy a quick rematch, and neither will any of the other playoff contenders.
Lewis Wheeler.
This is 100% going to the last day. There's no doubt in my mind we'll beat Wrexham. I was more worried about Wycombe than Wrexham. And look what we just did to them.
Right, that's it for this week's show. Many thanks for tuning in. 2 big games left for this season. Wycombe taking Leyton Orient on Saturday in East London, and we'll be back next week on Ringing the Blues with a recap of the action. In the meantime, come on you Blues.